minutes and 36 seconds away from the deorbit maneuver. At 1 day, 23 hours, 58 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 2 minutes, mission elapsed time. Standing by for acquisition through Madrid.
Columbia Houston through Madrid will be with you for about 3.5 minutes. Over.
Roger, you can help us out because we've got a couple of failures declared. First of all, on the we did the test the first time through, and the forward jets, four of the forward manifold 4 and 5 jets failed. Then we did it for the left and right and got failures of the manifold 1 jets. We then repeated the test for the forwards with an item 12 with the forward, with the vernier driver off. And at that time we got a whole slew of fail-offs which show up on spec 20. We looked at the mailbook and it said to consult MCC.
Okay, Richard. We'll be looking at that. Do you have any other notes?
Say that again, Rick.
Roger, we're looking at the RCS. Did you have any other notes?
Negative, I'm sorry. Everything else since LOS is gone just fine.
Okay, while we're looking at that, Richard, or if Joe could get on the left panel there, the high-load evaporator to off and the high-load duct heaters off, we'd appreciate that.
Okay, Rick, that's done.
Roger. And Columbia Houston, be aware, we're going to have a keyhole in this pass in about 45 seconds, so if we're talking or you're talking, we may drop in and out.
Okay.
Columbia Houston, looking forward in the timeline, we'd like to have that high-load duct heater back on, over.
Okay. High-load duct heater is back on to Bravo.
Well, you're sure easy to work with, Joe. Thank you. Columbia Houston on the RCS, if you could repeat the test with the driver power off, and we'll be interested in the results at Indian Ocean in 14 minutes.
Okay, Rick, we'll do it. We'll see you there.
Roger. We understand the messages with the driver power on. We'll be interested with it OFF.
Say that again, Rick. The forward jets were declared fail off, if that was the question.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is out of range of Madrid now. The next station is Indian Ocean in 13 minutes. Dick Truly reporting on this pass that he got several fault messages when he was doing the forward reaction control system test. We're looking at that problem here on the ground. We've asked him to repeat that task in a different configuration, and we'll await word on that at next acquisition. At 2 days, 8 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 20 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia will be within range of the Indian Ocean station shortly.
Columbia Houston, IOS for 5.5 minutes, over.
Okay, Rick, we're reading you loud and clear. We're on we're in the dedicated display and the flag test on 317, and the only anomaly so far has been on the right RHC trim. Richard had only one right trim contact show up.
Okay, we hear that.
It was the number two contact that did not come back, and we repeated that entire test, driver test again, and had no failures.
Okay, that's good word. And let me confirm, you have right RHC trim, number two contact only. Is that correct?
Negative. The number two contact is not there. The number one contact was the only contact that was made.
Okay, and in which direction is that?
Roll right.
Okay, thank you. Richard, you said you repeated the test. Did you happen to recycle that switch?
Negative. The first time, are you talking about the vernier driver switch?
No, I'm sorry. I was talking about the RHC trim.
Tell you what, if you want to look at it, I tried it 3 times and got the same result. If you'd like to look at it real quick, we can certainly call up the spec again.
Okay, let's do it, and we'll look at a couple cycles on that switch.
Okay. Okay, Rick, on CRT1. Okay, this time we got both contacts.
We've got wizards down here at the GNC console.
Very good. Well, whatever they did, we appreciate it. Keep them around, Rick.
Okay, good enough. And I'm looking ahead in the flight plan. We do have one pen and ink on 3-20 that is just a reminder that we'll pass to you when we get there.
Okay, fine, Rick. Appreciate it. And, Rick, we've completed the FCS checkout now.
Okay, understand FCS checkout is complete. When you have a chance, back on panel R11, row echo, DFI wideband, mission power to off. Over.
Okay.
And Columbia, Houston, the reminder is purely that when you do your radiator stow, we just want to make sure that all of the circuit breakers down on MA73 Charlie that you pulled when you stowed that single radiator are reset.
Okay, Rick, thanks for the reminder. We sure will. And Houston PLT?
Go ahead for 2 more minutes.
Okay, let me just make sure I understand what you said about the radiators. You want to select them all, in other words, have all the circuit breakers closed and then drive the switches closed, even though the port radiator is already there. Is that correct?
That's correct, Richard. And one item, we see you using 3 CRTs. If you need them, that's fine. Whenever you find you do not need them, if you could take one of them to standby, we'll just keep the loads down a little.
Okay, we'll take CRT3 off now, Rick. We just had them up for the FCS checkout. Thanks.
Okay, and that can be in the standby vice off position.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Houston, Columbia, we're ready to go into page 321 now, and Rick, we're on flash evap Pry B now. Would you like to leave Pry B on, or do you want to go to Pry A as per page 3-20?
We see that. Let's go to Pry A.
Okay, we'll do it.
And you will probably have to cycle that off, then on after the radiator bypass, just to restart the flash evap.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks for the reminder, Rick.
Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds to LOS with a possibility we might have you a bit longer. Before we go LOS, you could go back to auto and back to top sun attitude.
Okay, and you'd like to send that new top sun attitude for the teleprinter, is that correct?
Correction, tail sun, and that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Columbia, Houston, are we still with you?
This is Shuttle Control. The Indian Ocean Station has loss of signal. Next acquisition through Yargady, Australia in 10 minutes. Pilot Dick Truly reporting over the Indian Ocean Station that he had repeated the forward reaction control system test and had no failures. At 2 days, 27 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 36 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia coming up on acquisition through Yargady will stand by.
Columbia, Houston through Yargady for 6 minutes. Over. And Columbia, Houston, I think I heard a response. However, we apparently lost the signal. We don't have anything pressing other than you do have a go for payload bay door closing.
Roger, Rick, and how do you read now?
Okay, you're in the weeds, but we can read you clear. Go ahead.
Okay, Rick, we're on our way to the tail of the sun attitude, and the flash evap A did trip off, but it did reset okay, and it's controlling nicely now at about 40 degrees.
Okay, that's good to hear, and we'd like to chat with you a little bit about theodolite, if you have the time now.
Rick, go ahead.
Okay, Richard, three-part message. Number one is it's okay to turn on the lights for this exercise. The power load level does permit that. And first of all, if you can get those aft cal points, we'd like you to press on with the theodolite. If you cannot get the cal points with the theodolite, we'll terminate theodolite ops right there. Over.
Okay, Rick, understand, and we'll do our best. Thank you.
Okay, one more note on that. Targets Bravo and Charlie, we feel, are the priority targets, with Delta being second priority and Alpha being last priority. Over.
Roger, Rick, I understand that. Thank you. And Houston PLT?
Go ahead.
You can tell GNC there were a number of fail-off jets when we went back to Ops 2, but it was just the half a second or second delta between after the system initialized its normal jet with the drivers off. So we have cleaned up the Spec 23.
Okay, that's good to hear, Richard. Thank you. Columbia, Houston, 2 more minutes in the Argody Pass. At Auroral, which will be about a minute after LOS, we'll be looking for Spec 1 on a GNC machine, if you can give it to us for some variable parameters.
Okay, I understand you want Spec 1 on a GNC coming at you on CRT 2.
Roger. We don't need that till Auroral. That's about 3 minutes from now.
Okay, I understand you do not need it, Rick, and we'll stand by. In Houston, the CO2 absorbers have been removed and stowed.
Okay, thank you. Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds to LOS. We'll pick you up at Auroral in just under 2 minutes.
Okay, Rick, we'll see you there.
This is Shuttle Control. Yargady has loss of signal. Auroral will acquire in about 1 minute. Crew has been given a go for closing the payload bay doors. That operation will be conducted by Joe Engel, while Dick Truly takes sightings through the theodolite. He's been told that he can turn on the payload bay lights to assist him in that operation. He had problems seeing marks on launch day after they achieved orbit when they were opening the doors. It was dark in the bay before the doors were open. He couldn't see the marks very well. So they can turn on the floodlights in the bay for that. And he's also been told that if he can't get the aft calibration points to terminate the theodolite operation. We have acquisition through Auroral now.
Columbia, Houston, through Auroral now, 4.5 minutes, and if you have that GNC Spec 1 up, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, Rick, it's up on CRT 2.
Roger. We also have some TMBUs coming up to you for your water quantities, and we've got an IMU gyro bias for number 2 in the X-axis coming. Columbia, Houston, the CRT is yours. We're complete with that.
Roger, Rick, thank you.
And Columbia, Houston, we've done an audit of our teleprinter messages down here, and as I suppose you have, to the extent that we could tell you a certain number of those that can be discarded just because they're passed in the timeline, we can do that. We are also prepared to advise you in advance of any pen and inks that you may not have had a chance to get in well in advance of those times. Over.
I propose we take option number 2. The last teleprinter message was 6 or 7 feet long, and with other things going on, we just didn't have time to look at it. So if you'll help take care of us, and when we can get to those, we'll get squared away.
Okay, will do. Gyro bias is on board. Columbia, Houston, the TMBUs are on board, and you have a go for taking your APU fuel pump valve cool switches, 2 of them to off, and your controller power off.
Okay, Rick, I'll get some.
Columbia, Houston, 1 minute to LOS. We see the PLT's controller power on. We believe it should be off.
Thank you, Rick. We got it.
Columbia, Houston, 20 seconds to LOS. We'll see you next through Buckhorn in 23 minutes.
Okay, Rick, we'll see you there.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is out of range of Aurora. Next station, Buckhorn in California in 22.5 minutes. Columbia is 4 hours, 22 minutes, 16 seconds away from a deorbit maneuver. That retrograde maneuver will take place over the Indian Ocean on orbit 36 using both orbital maneuvering system engines. Flight Dynamics Officer Willis Bolt presently expects that maneuver to change the velocity by 295.7 feet per second. Time of the burn, 2 minutes, 47.5 seconds. Mission elapsed times of some succeeding events include entry into the Earth's atmosphere at an elapsed time of 2 days, 5 hours, 40 minutes, 37 seconds. Begin blackout, 2 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, 23 seconds. End blackout, 2 days, 5 hours, 59 minutes, 36 seconds. And expected landing at 2 days, 6 hours, 12 minutes, 43 seconds. At 2 days, 52 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston.
Houston, NASA 946, radio check, over.
NASA 946, this is Houston, over.
Roger, going ahead with a weather check.
Roger, we're standing by.
Okay, there's a low scattered layer, bottoms 8, tops 9,000 feet, and it's less than 2/10. There was an intermediate layer, less than 2/10, 20,000 feet scattered. There's a layer right now that starts at 30,000 feet, goes to 35,000 feet. It's overcast, but you can see through it, and it's going to blow out of here and be clear because it's over in the west, it's clear.
Roger.
And the winds right now at the surface, 240, 10 gusts to 15, at 7, 270 at 25, at 20, 255, at 56, at 30, 255, at 92, at 35, 252, at 97, at 370, 270, at 90. So that means Joe ought to turn the inside of the hack, of course.
Okay, we copy that, John.
And the only thing, the only weather around here that looks bad is over the mountains in the valley, and if that keeps dissipating, why, it'll be okay.
Okay, and we'll poll the room and see if there are any other questions off of that.
It could be bad. We have to keep an eye on that all day, I think.
Roger. John, we'd appreciate your shooting an approach to runway 15 and giving us an evaluation on the crosswind conditions now.
Okay, we're going to do that right now.
Okay, and we're in a 18-minute LOS period, so you should feel free to give us a call back whenever.
Okay, sir. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on this weather. We'll be up here for a couple hours and then fly the other airplane for a couple hours and just keep an eye on it. The only possible problem we could have would be if this low cloud deck on the other side of the valley blows in here, because it's that 8,000 to 9,000 deck, but over in the valley it's broken.
Okay, we understand that, John, and we'll be interested in the trends.
I think what happens is it blows across the hill and dissipates just like we know it, though it's always done for many years out here.
Okay. And John, since you will be airborne at the time, we'll have another LOS period at around 0910 your time, and we'll initiate that call to you. See what the status is then.
Roger that.
This is Shuttle Control. That was astronaut John Young, airborne in the shuttle training aircraft in the Edwards Air Force Base area, providing a weather report for that area.
946, Houston, over.
This is Shuttle Control. At 2 days, 1 hour, 13 minutes. We're standing by for acquisition through Buckhorn.
Columbia, Houston, through Buckhorn now. We'll be with you for 18 and a half minutes.
Okay, Houston, we're reading you loud and clear, and we're working through the timeline. We're on page 323.
Roger, 323. I do have a pen and ink note for you at the bottom of that page, if I could pass it to you.
Please do, go ahead.
Okay, you might even be able to just do it real time. It's on panel L1. It's Av Bay fan reconfig. We'd like Av Bay fan 2, fan A off, and fan B on. And in Av Bay 3, we'd like fan A on and B off. Over.
Roger, Rick, that is accomplished.
Okay, and we do not see any other pen and inks until we get over to the bottom of 327. There is a new attitude that will pass to you sometime during this pass.
Do you have it now?
Roger.
Break, Rick. Is that 318-2, 1011, and 2980?
You've got it. That's good.
Okay, thank you.
And Columbia, Houston, there are some additional power down items we'd like to call your attention to in the orbit pocket checklist sometime during this pass.
Stand by just a second. Okay, Rick, go ahead.
Okay, I'll refer you to page 10-10, and when you're there, let me know.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, on the bottom of the page, steps 6 through 17, we have virtually accomplished the majority of those. The only item I'll call your attention to there is step 8. We are still trying to use only 2 CRTs with the third one in standby. You are cleared. You have a go to use both instrument powers, DDUs, and flight controller powers whenever required. The remainder of that page has already been done or will be picked up in your entry switch list verification, so you can ignore the rest of it. And I'd like you to flip to page 10-11 now.
Roger, go ahead.
Okay, we'd like to ensure that the step 24, which is a pen and ink to call your attention to doing your DFI equipment config, is noted in your PDP. And we'd also like you to make the pen and inks to the entry checklist listed as steps 25 and 26.
Okay, I understand the 25 and 26. I'm not sure I understand what you said about step 24.
Okay, step 24, when you get, as you see right above that, when you get over to page 3-35 in the PDP in that pre-ingress config, and the bubble reference is wrong, it should be bubble 2. We will like you at that point to come back to this page 11-12 and set up your DFI equipment as indicated on page 11-12.
Rick, you cut totally out. Must have been a handover right in the middle. I'm looking at page 3 well, tell me the page again in the PDP.
Okay, 335. Richard, do you read me now?
Yes, sir, loud and clear. And I'm looking at 335.
Okay, under the DFI ASIP heater step on the right center.
Okay, I've got it.
Underneath OEX power, if you will add a note to perform the DFI equipment config for entry critical data, and the reference is page 11-12 of the orbit pocket checklist.
Roger, Rick, I've got that, and we'll do it.
Okay, you'll find that the pen and inks to the entry checklist listed on the orbit pocket 1011 has a wrong page reference, but if you do that at TIG-5, you won't go wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that complete from us. We'll be with you for 13 more minutes.
Okay, super. Okay.
Columbia, Houston, we've got a state vector to come up to you. Columbia, Houston, question on a switch on panel F1.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Okay, Richard, in our bookkeeping, to make sure that a previous message had asked you to turn off the DC utility power main B. You may or may not have gotten to that message, but we now would like to have that on and leave it on, and those, of course, drive your DAC cameras for landing, and we feel we can afford that power usage.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Columbia, Houston, we do have a state vector to send up to you.
Okay, sir. Shoot her on up, Rick.
On the way. Your new state vector is on board.
Thank you, sir. Houston, PLT.
Go ahead, 2 more minutes, over.
Roger, Rick. I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend that we don't get these theodolite measurements. It's not a matter of time, but there's a little jiggle in the instrument, or at least in the mounting bracket, that was not in it that I recall when we did the test down at Cape. But for whatever reason, there's enough jiggle that accurate measurements just can't be. You can make one measurement, but the slightest bump knocks it off. And I think that the data probably would be invalid. And since we are just about even on the timeline, I would recommend we still get the outline and talk about it for the next flight.
Okay, we concur with that recommendation. Press on.
Thank you, Rick, and I'm sorry about that.
No problem. We're 1 minute from LOS. Our next contact will be at Dakar in 5 minutes.
All right, Rick, we'll see you there.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is beyond Bermuda's range now. Next station is Dakar in 4.5 minutes. Pilot Dick Truly, during the end of this pass, recommending that we scrub the theodolite measurements. Said that the theodolite mounting bracket is not stable enough to get accurate measurements. Flight Director Don Putty concurred, and that operation has been terminated. At 2 days, 1 hour, 33 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 1 hour, 36 minutes, mission elapsed time. Columbia almost within range of Dakar.
Columbia, this is Houston, through Dakar for 7 minutes, over.
Roger, and the port door is closed and latched.
Okay, that's good to hear. Columbia, Houston, we have a request on the OMS to RCS interconnect, over.
Just a second, Houston. How long do we have in this pass?
We've got 5 minutes, and this is deferrable.
Okay, the starboard door is coming closed, and I want to at least get it close here and stop, and then we can talk.
Okay, that sounds good, Richard.
Okay, Rick, the starboard door is in the proximity to the closed position, and while we got AOS, why don't I just tell you where it is, okay?
That sounds good.
From my vantage point, it looks like both doors are perfectly straight, and I can't really pick a latch that's going to come closest to hitting first. Possibly these up here in the forward, number 2 or maybe 3.
Okay, we copy that.
Chart on page 524 is that the latches are going to, you should put a mark on the bottom scale at the 2.0 inches is where I would say they're going to hit.
Okay, we've got that, Richard.
Okay, and with that, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about the OMS RCS.
Okay, it's purely a matter of conservation of aft RCS fuel. We'd like to, at this time, interconnect from the right ohms to both RCS, over.
Okay, right ohms to RCS. Stand by. Rick, one minor thing, our old crossfeed Bravo on the left ohms, the switch is in GPC, but we both know it's closed, and so I'm going to keep pressing per the checklist.
Roger, we understand and concur. And from what you described on the payload bay doors, that looks just super. We're 30 seconds from LOS. Richard, as we go over the hill, on an SM machine, when you have a chance, an item 48 will get rid of a cam light bit that is set so that it will not declare against CRT3 before the DIP's config. We'll see you next at Botswana in 10 minutes.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia out of range at Dakar. Next station, Botswana, 10.5 minutes. Report during this pass that the port payload bay door was closed. The starboard door almost closed. Neither door latched yet. Dick Truly taking sightings as these doors were closing, visual observation of where it looked like the latches might strike. Here on the ground, the engineers are pleased with the reports he gave them on the payload bay door closing. At 2 days, 1 hour, 45 minutes mission elapsed time, this is Shuttle Control. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 1 hour, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. Botswana is about to acquire Columbia.
Columbia, Houston, through Botswana, 3.5 minutes, over.
Okay, Houston, clear rig loud and clear. The doors are closed, and we're into bubbles 1 and 2 on page 3-27.
Roger, we copy that. See, you guys are ahead of the timeline. That's super. And Columbia, Houston, as we went over the hill at Dakar, perhaps you didn't hear me. In the freeze-dry machine, there is a vote fail vote flag set. So prior to the DPS reconfig, an item 48 on the SM machine will clear that, over.
Okay, Rick, thank you much. And that's been done, Rick.
Roger. And Columbia, Houston, looking ahead in the PDP, we see no more pen and inks until you get to page 3-32, and I believe you probably have already made those to the IMU star line pads.
Yes, sir, that's correct, Rick. Thank you very much for the reminder.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, we're 1 minute from LOS. Our next contact at Yargadi in 14 minutes.
Okay, sir, we'll see you there.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia out of range at Botswana. Next station, Yargadi in 12.5 minutes. About that time, Columbia's crewmen will start donning the pressure suits they will wear during entry. Reported during this pass that payload bay doors are closed and latched. At 2 days, 1 hour, 59 minutes. Mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston.
Houston, NASA 946, over.
NASA 946, loud and clear. Go ahead, John.
Okay, the 8 to 10,000 foot deck gets to about Rosamond and then dissipates. It's coming over the hill there. That'd be the only one I'd worry about. There's an upper deck here, but it's in and out, and it's very tenuous. So I'd say it's scattered. The upper deck from 30,000 to 35,000 is very thin. But the main thing I think you should pass to Joe Henry is with those winds, he ought to be flying the hack manually to stay inside the turning circle. And, you know, we've got some winds here at 10,000. They're 260 at 40, 25,000, 250 at 85. So if he's not inside the hack, that'll keep him, the automatic system just won't do that. He'll have to do it.
Okay, we understand that, John. Let me make sure I understand what you said on the lower deck. You're saying that that lower 8 to 10,000 foot deck is dissipating at Rosamond, so it's bordering on that part of the lake bed now. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I don't think it'll be a problem, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Okay. Any problem at all going into 2-3?
No problem at all with 2-3 or 1-5. The wind in 1-5 has been running from the tower. Last run was 240 at 12, and that
and they're both okay.
Okay, the question, I guess, John, is any problems anticipated with an auto flight around the hack to 2-3?
Yeah, the wind is blowing. It'll blow you outside the hack and put you into the 2G limit, one or the other.
Okay, we just wanted to verify that that comment applied to both 2-3 and 1-5. Do you have any comments on your crosswind approach to 1-5?
Oh, it's a pretty standard crosswind. It is, that wind is blowing so hard crosswind near the surface so that, well, Joe Henry knows how to do that.
We're interested in the gust levels also, John, as to whether you see any problems with those.
Any gusts?
No gusts. Understand. We understand then that you think that is presently acceptable for a crosswind landing to 1-5. Is that correct?
We'll keep watching it. They predicted the wind's supposed to die off.
Okay, we'll be interested in an update on that later. Thank you very much. And NASA 946 from Houston, over.
Go ahead.
Okay, if you could give me an idea what your plan is now for, I understand you'll probably be landing the STA shortly, and can we expect a report from you at about 11:05 local? What are you flying, a T-38, is that correct?
I'll be flying another G2 and give you another report at 11:05 local.
Okay, thank you, John.
This is Shuttle Control. That was John Young again reporting Edwards Air Force Base weather. Astronaut Young is in the shuttle training aircraft making approaches to both runways 23 and 15 at Edwards. He did recommend that Joe Engel fly the big sweeping turn around the heading alignment circle, the hack he referred to, manually rather than in automatic as had been programmed. The winds are strong enough that the automatic mode might exceed the G loads that we're looking for. John Young will give another weather report from the STA in about 2 hours. 2 days, 2 hours, 7 minutes. This is Shuttle Control. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 2 hours, 11 minutes mission elapsed time. Yargity will acquire Columbia in about 30 seconds.
Columbia Houston through Yargity for 7 minutes, over.
Roger, Houston, Range 11, third, Rick. And Rick, I got one item for you on bubble 1 on page 327.
Roger, we're there.
Okay, Rick, just at the 4-minute point in reconfiguring the radiator controllers, the loop 1 bypass did go back to, did return to bypass. And I took them both, they're in bypass now, and we're configured as per the bottom of bubble 1, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, we've got that, Joe. Appreciate that. Columbia, Houston, one verification. Would you verify that that was loop number one that bypassed?
That's correct, Rick. That was loop 1.
Okay, Joe, that is not a surprise to us, and of course we'll be looking forward to the second half of the test.
Okay, you betcha. And it happened just about at the end of the 4-minute wait, Rick.
Okay, good enough. We've got 5.5 more minutes in this pass, and we see you'll be getting into your suits here.
After that, we're starting that right now. Houston, Columbia.
Go ahead.
Just to confirm, we did say that was loop 1 that returned to bypass. Is that correct?
That's affirmed. We copied that.
Enough.
Columbia, Houston, 2 minutes to go in this pass. One question, we are generating any additional changes that we're coming up with to the entry switch list verification, and just as a note of interest, we're wondering if you had already entered the message changes into your entry switch list verification. And if you're busy getting into the suits, don't bother answering.
Not done anything about physically changing the books.
Okay, good enough. We've got a variety of deltas to that, and we'll have that all organized for you with plenty of time to go on that.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, 40 seconds LOS. We'll be coming up at the car in about 1 minute, and we will not necessarily expect a response from you, correction, at Aurora Valley, a response from you there because of your suit downing.
Okay, thank you, Rick, and we're in the process of doing that right now.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, talking to you through Aurora, 2.5 minutes.
Okay, we're copy. And you're right, Rick. We are suiting up, and we'll be with you as soon as we can.
No problem. We have nothing to pass until at least Hawaii, at least as of this time.
Okay, we'll try and be ready for you there, Rick, and thank you very much.
Roger. Well, I spoke too soon. When you have a chance, if someone upstairs, DFI PCM recorder to a high sample. Over.
Okay, Rick, I'll get right up there and get it.
Thank you. Columbia, Houston, 15 seconds to LOS. See you next at Hawaii in 15 minutes, and we do not have anything pressing for you at Hawaii.
Okay, Rick, mighty fine. We'll try and be back on the concept here and meet you up there at Hawaii.
Okay.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia out of range of Aurora. Next station, Hawaii in 14 minutes. 2 days, 2 hours, 23 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 2 hours, 36 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia nearing acquisition through the Hawaii station. We don't intend to give them a call at this station. We believe they'll be busy suiting up, and we'll stand by for their call if they want to talk to us, but we won't disturb them at the Hawaii station. We'll stand by.
Columbia, Houston, we're 50 seconds from LOS Hawaii. No acknowledgement required. We'll see you next over the States in 2.5 minutes.
This is Shuttle Control. We went through the Hawaii Pass without talking to the crew while they're busy getting into their pressure suits. Buckhorn will acquire in 2 minutes for a pass over the continental United States. We'll stand by for that.
Houston, Columbia, do you read?
Got you loud and clear there, Richard. 11.5 minutes to go in the pass.
Houston, Columbia, if you answered, you were garbled and unreadable.
How do you read me now?
Right, one more time, Rick.
Okay, one more time, Simo. If this doesn't work, I'll come up single.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we've got 11 minutes to go in the pass. We do have a few notes for you at your convenience.
Hey, just 1 second. Okay, Rick, please go ahead.
Okay, Richard, we have got your preliminary Del pad and the portion of the target pad that you were interested in, also the OMS propellant pad, over.
Tell you what, Rick, let's save those pads till the next site unless you need to get them up. Is there anything else you need from us?
No, Richard, just a reminder that we do have the entry switch list of modifications we'll be prepared to give to you, and that certainly does not have to be at this AOS.
Okay, and when are we from AOS again? How long do we have LOS?
In between Bermuda and Dakar, after we lose you in 10 minutes, there'll be about a 3-minute LOS period until we pick you up at Dakar.
Hey, okay, Rick, we'll be there. See you there.
Good enough. Columbia, Houston, 6.5 minutes to go in the pass. We would be interested in the rad heat sink DTO AOS, but it's...
Roger, Rick, we'll get that and then we'll settle down and talk to you.
Okay, good enough.
Houston, PLT.
Go ahead.
Roger, Rick, Joe's doing the red heat sink. Why don't you read me the pads real quick and I'll copy them.
Okay, the Del pad follows 138-355-013, 140, minus 002, 313.4, 255, 200, 140, 140, 81, 61, dump to oxidizer 00, 1095.1 plus 0.1, 202, 195, 035, pre-bank right 000, EI minus 07, EI minus 01, 30.11, 05, 45, 44, 20304, left turn, Edwards runway 15 for the crosswind DTO. I'll pass the target when you're ready.
Okay, stand by just a second. Okay, Rick, I'm ready to copy.
Roger. Item 10, TIG will be 002/051315.0, 15905. C2 is minus 0.6387. HT is 65.832. 110.863. plus 6684. Over.
Okay, and would you like readback?
Okay, let me give you the ohms propellant pad.
Okay.
Left is 10% and right is 19. That's 19%, and a reminder that you should use the fuel quantities as cues. The fuel quantity lag should catch up after about 70 seconds. Over.
Okay, I've got that, Rick.
Okay, we got about 2 minutes. Why don't you go ahead and read back?
Okay, real quick on the Del pad. 138 3555013 140 minus 002 313.4 255 200 140 140 8161 oxidizer equals 0. 1095.1 minus 0.1 202 195 035 000 07 01 3011 05 4544 20304. Left turns runway 15 and we'll get to crosswind.
That's a firm. One correction, bottom left-hand side. The YCG is a positive 0.1.
Aha, I had written that down and read it wrong.
Okay, go ahead. We got about a minute left. Okay, those are good readbacks. And the prop pad cue?
Okay, 10% left, 19% right, and use the fuel.
Okay, that's good. 4 seconds LOS. You have a go for the Ops 3 transition. We'll see you at Dakar in 4 minutes.
Okay, Greg, see you later.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is out of range at Bermuda. Next station, Dakar, in 3.5 minutes. Capcom Rick Houck passed up the information on the deorbit burn just then. The time of that ignition has not changed. The values of the delta V values and the duration of the burn have changed slightly. We're 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 30 seconds away from that deorbit maneuver, which will occur over the Indian Ocean at a mission elapsed time of 2 days, 5 hours, 13 minutes, 15 seconds. Change in velocity will be 313.4 feet per second. It's a retrograde maneuver, slowing down by that much. The duration of the burn, 2 minutes, 55 seconds. And it's targeted to produce an orbit with a perigee of 141 nautical miles, an apogee of 141 nautical miles, and a perigee of -2 nautical miles. Following that, we expect entry interface at a mission elapsed time of 2 days, 5 hours, 40 minutes, 37 seconds. Communications blackout will begin at 2 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, 23 seconds. And the blackout will end at 2 days, 5 hours, 59 minutes, 36 seconds, with landing projected at 2 days, 6 hours, 12 minutes, 43 seconds. We're about a minute and a half away from acquisition at Dakar. We'll stand by for that pass.
Columbia Houston through Dakar. We're with you through Dakar and Ascension for 11 minutes. And just one reminder, when you're through the rad heat sink DTO, the DFI recorder PCM to high sample. Over. Columbia Houston through Dakar. Over.
Roger, Houston, reading you loud and clear, and we're just starting the maneuver.
Okay, we copy that, and I don't know if you heard me. Since we're no data at this site, a reminder that after the rad heat sink DTO is complete, the DFI recorder PCM to high sample.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the reminder, Rick. The rad heat sink is complete, and we are in high sample.
Roger, and from that report, can we assume that that worked out all right?
You sure can.
Okay. Okay, Joe, we'll, of course, be planning on using the rads during the entry then.
Okay, sounds good.
And Columbia Houston, I do have a list of 4 teleprinter messages that do have pen and inks to your publications that we think you probably want to complete prior to the entry, and we'll be glad to read that list to you when you're ready.
Go ahead, I'm ready to copy.
Okay, that's message 21 Alpha, which has a few entry pocket checklist changes. Message 29 Echo, which has entry switch list checks changes. Message 30 Alpha, which has both entry and entry pocket changes, and I think from what our communications have given us, you've probably done message 34, which has the deorbit PDP changes. Over.
Okay, it's 21 Alpha, 29 Echo, 30 Alpha, and 34.
That's firm, Richard. Columbia Houston, a note on the panel A12 switch. Over.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Roger, on the bottom line, the hydraulic heater aft fuselage B switch to off, OFF. Over.
Okay, I guess I missed that one switch. Thanks for catching it.
Roger, and we've got targets and vectors to come up to you when you're ready. 3 minutes to go in this pass.
Yeah, why don't you send them up, Rick?
On the way. Columbia Houston, the state vector and targets are on board.
Roger, Rick, thank you.
Columbia Houston, 1 minute to LOS. Next contact at Botswana in 5 minutes.
Okay, I understand. And the IMU alignment's in progress, Rick.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control. Lost a signal through Ascension Island now. Next station is Botswana in 3.5 minutes. At 2 days, 3 hours, 22 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for just under 7 minutes. Over.
Okay, Rick, loud and clear. We've gotten a good alignment and we're going to the verification.
Okay, I copy that, and a reminder that we do have some changes to that entry switch list verification and also some switches to voice up to you on that, and we'll pass that to you probably best either here or at Yargadi, maybe even Guam. Over. Correction, only opportunities probably would be Botswana here and Yargadi.
Houston PLT, do you read?
Loud and clear, Richard.
Okay, would you, first of all, let me ask you a question. Are there any mid-deck switches that are not as printed in the pictorials?
The answer is negative.
Thank you. Then I'll do the mid-deck switch verification just as it's printed. Joe, during this pass, if you could point out to me any switches that need to be in a different configuration that you know are out of configuration now, I'll sure try to get them out.
We have no data here at Botswana if you're looking for us to look at the data. Over.
Negative, not data. Changes to the switch list.
Okay, Richard, if I understand you correctly, I can refer you to message number 29 Echo, and we do have some deletions off of that list.
Well, what bothers me is that one of our long messages that had several come up with it had about 2 or 3 feet of garbage, which I thought that I reported, but I'm not sure that it came aboard. I cannot find it in my, in the place that I'm keeping the messages now.
Okay, understand you do not have 29 Echo on board. I don't think that's a real problem. We can read you the changes.
Okay, I think that's the best line of attack, so go ahead.
Okay, probably be best if you had your switch verification list out in section 5. We'll work from that. Over.
Okay, stand by. Okay, Rick, go ahead with the...
Okay, page 5-3, panel L1. The deltas are the flash evap controller power. Primary A should be off. Primary Bravo should be on. Cabin fan Alpha should be ON, Bravo, OFF. The AV bays we just configured shortly ago, basically 2 cabin fan, AV bay fan in 2. A is off, Bravo on, and in AV bay 3, A is ON, and Bravo is OFF brake.
Okay, got all that, thank you.
Okay, next one is on page 5-11, 5-11.
Okay, Rick, go ahead.
All right, panel 08, the left ohms crossfeed Bravo should be in GPC, talkback close. Over.
Go ahead.
Page 5-13.
Go ahead.
Okay, the cryo heater configuration is O2, tank 1, heater alpha, tank 2 is off, OFF, as should be tank 2, heater Bravo, and also H2, tank 1, heater alpha, should be OFF, and H2, tank 2, heater Bravo, OFF. Over.
Okay, I have all of those, Rick, go ahead.
Roger. There are a variety of switches on panel R1 having to do with fuel cell 1 that is shut down. I will not bother you with those switch changes. Over. Next one, page 5-16. Over.
ahead.
Roger, on R11, at the top of R11, the DFI Freon pump select should be off, OFF, and a verification on the IECM position 2, that's TWO. Then on row Echo, DFI wideband mission power should be off, OFF, and then on row Foxtrot, circuit breaker, DFI, wideband, ascent, equipment, main Charlie should be open, and the recorder, main Charlie, should be open. Break.
Okay, can I open those now?
Yes, that's affirmative. Row Golf, DFI, PCM, pressure transducers should be off, OFF.
Roger, and it is.
Okay, on R12, supply water tank alpha, inlet talkback should be closed, and Bravo inlet should be closed, and Bravo outlet should be closed. Over.
Roger, they are.
Okay, on page 5-17.
Go ahead.
Okay, Richard, 10 seconds LOS. We'll pick up very few remaining ones at Yargady in about 12 minutes.
Thanks a lot, Rick. We'll be there. Appreciate your helping us. I think that's a lot more efficient.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control. Botswana has loss of signal. Next station, Yargady, in 12 and a half minutes. At 2 days, 3 hours, 33 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control. The video on the monitors in the news center is from a helicopter at Edwards Air Force Base. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 3 hours, 45 minutes, mission elapsed time. Columbia coming up within range at Yargady now.
Columbia Houston through Yargady. We'll be with you for 7.5 minutes. Over.
Okay, Rick, reading you loud and clear, and we're marching along through the checklist here.
Okay, good enough. I do have only 3 more switch items for you in that entry switch list verification, if you want to do that now.
What pages are they? Or just start?
Roger, page 5-17. Over. I may have cut you out. That's page 5-17.
Stand by. Okay, go ahead.
Roger, on R15, road Delta, all circuit breakers should be open. In row Echo, the starboard and port RMS TV circuit breakers, 6 of them should all be open. Over.
Okay, copy that. Row Echo, all open, and the starboard and port RMS TV circuit breakers, 6 of them all open.
Okay, that's not quite correct, Joe. R15 row Delta should all be open, and then the RMS was correct. Over.
Sorry. I have written down there, read it back wrong, Rick. Okay, Delta's all open and all 6 RMS TV circuit breakers open. Thank you.
Okay, last one is page 5-21 on panel Alpha 12. Over.
Okay, go ahead.
Hydraulic circ pump power 2 should be to main Charlie. Over.
Okay, it is there. Hydraulic circ pump 2 is to main Charlie.
Okay, Joe, that completes the deltas to that switch list. We'll be getting a weather report from John and the STA after this pass at Yargady, and we'll be passing it to you at Hawaii.
Very good. Thank you, Rick.
And Columbia Houston, on the MPS pre-valves, they will be open for entry. Over.
I understand open all pre-valves for the entry. Is that right?
That's correct.
And Rick, could we confirm, is that 6 switches, LO2 and LH2?
I'll confirm that. Wait.
Okay.
That is correct. All 6 pre-valves.
Okay. All of them open. Thank you, Rick.
Columbia Houston, 1 minute to LOS. Our next contact is at Hawaii in just under 20 minutes.
Okay, Rick, we'll see you there, and we'll be ready to talk to you about the weather.
Roger.
This is shuttle control. Columbia out of range at Yargady. Hawaii is next in 18 minutes. At Edwards Air Force Base, the convoy is getting organized. We'll be standing by for landing there. We're 1 hour, 18 minutes, 56 seconds away from the deorbit burn. At 2 days, 3 hours, 54 minutes mission elapsed time. This is shuttle control, Houston.
NASA 9046, this is Houston, standing by for your weather report. Over.
Roger, this is NASA 947 now. The weather is, there are no lower decks of clouds. The upper deck is starts at 30,000 and goes to about 33,000. It's scattered to broken, and you can see through it. I'd estimate the percent is less than 60. You can see the aim points off the, you can see your ground track off the 270, 180, and 90-degree positions. And the aim points are visible all the way down. The winds are, right now, the surface winds are about 220 at 12, up to 12 to 14 knots. The 7,000-foot winds are 265 at 30, 240 at 20, at 20,000, 240 at 50, at 30,000, 270 at 75 knots, and at 35,000, 270 at 90 knots, at 37,000, 270 at 88 knots. So the situation of the control stick steering around the heading alignment circle to stay on the inside of the heading alignment circle still exists. The crosswind is within limits, and the turbulence is slight. Over.
Okay, we copied all of that, John. Our present targeting is to runway 15 for the crosswind, and we appreciate that thorough weather report. We'll canvass the room and see if there are any more questions.
Okay, we're going to keep an eye on this wind. It's up and down, and it might force us, if it increases a great deal more, to go back to 2-3.
Roger, understand you're referring to the surface wind, is that correct? Okay, we'll be interested in up for about 5 more minutes in case any develop.
Roger that.
Columbia, Houston, could you give us an idea of your fuel endurance and implications for later weather reports? Over.
Houston 947, we're going to stay up here until after the Columbia's landed.
Roger, 947. Thank you. This is Houston. We would be interested in one more approach to the designated runway in about 40 minutes, 40 to 50 minutes. That would be in between our Bermuda and Ascension AOS times, and we'll give you a call for the update on the crosswind evaluation.
Okay, we'll do it.
Thank you.
This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 4 hours, 11 minutes mission elapsed time. Hawaii will have acquisition of Columbia in about 15 seconds.
Columbia, Houston, we're with you through Hawaii for 6.5 minutes. We see you in Ops 3 and everything looks fine. Anything for us? Over.
Roger, Rick, stay by. Yeah, Rick, just a second. I got a question on this start down procedure.
Go ahead. And configure AOS. Over. We have TMBUs to send up to you while we're talking. Columbia, Houston, go ahead.
Houston, stand by just a second, Rick. Hey. And Houston, Rick, I got a question on the power down procedures in the orbit pocket on page 11-12.
Roger, wait one. Go ahead. Go ahead. Columbia, Houston, go ahead.
Okay, Rick, on step, I've completed down through step 6, and step 7 says to wait for MCC instructions, and I'm waiting for you to go to press on with that and then to rewind the recorder. And Houston, Columbia, would you say again, Rick? You were a little blocked out on that one.
Roger, complete the rewind procedure, and then we'd like to make sure that disregard. Just complete the procedure.
Okay, I'll complete the procedure on page 11-12, steps 8 and 9, and then go through the rewind procedure.
One moment, Joe. Would you stop the recorder, and we'll need to talk to you about that.
Okay, Rick, the recorder is stopped right now.
Okay, do I understand that you're going through the procedure in the top half of the page? Is that correct?
That's correct.
While we're talking about that, on 3-34, would you make sure that the MPS H2 purge prep is complete and configured as per that bubble? Over. We're looking specifically at the helium isols, 2 of them left to GPC, and pneumatic helium isol to GPC.
Okay, stand by just a second. Okay, Rick, let me tell you what happened. I had done the purge prep previously prior to you telling me we were going to enter with the pre-valves open, and I thought that was just 3 switches you wanted. If you want me to reconfigure, I'll come up here and say again the switches.
Okay, Richard, if you'll just do the switches as listed on page 3-34, R2 and R4 panels, that should do it.
Okay, Rick. And Rick, I see what happened on page 11-12, and I'll back out of this procedure and walk down to the entry critical.
We believe that the entry switch verification should have set you up for the entry critical, Joe. Let us get back to you on the repositioning.
Okay. And Houston PLT, got to ask you a question on 334, Rick.
Go ahead, 1 minute.
Okay. You said to complete the procedure in the bubble. Does that include inside the asterisk?
Negative.
Okay, I have previously completed those switches on R2 and R4, which are not inside the asterisk.
Okay, we do not see the helium isols in GPC. Would you verify they're in GPC, both helium and the pneumatic? Columbia Houston, 10 seconds LOS. We'll pick you up next at Buckhorn in 3 minutes.
Okay, see you then, Rick. Okay, Rick.
This is Shuttle Control. Hawaii has loss of signal. Buckhorn next in just under 3 minutes. Columbia's crew has put OPS-3 into the computer. That's the landing program for the onboard general purpose computers. We'll stand by for acquisition at Buckhorn.
Columbia Houston through Buckhorn will be with you over the States for about 18 minutes. How do you read?
Thank you, loud and clear, Rick. And I have backed out of the top half of that page. I'm into the entry critical data, and in fact, I'm finished that, and I'm rewinding the PCM recorder now.
Okay, that sounds good. Joe, we presume you're using the procedure on page 3-35 at TIG minus an hour and 20 minutes. And verify configured AOS.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
Okay, should be no problem.
Okay, Rick, let's talk about the MPS on page 3-34.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had configured car bubble 2 there, ignoring the asterisk, prior to you saying that we intended to fly with the pre-valves open. At that time, I opened the pre-valves.
Roger. Columbia Houston, how do you read?
Houston PLT, loud and clear.
Okay, Richard, let's go ahead and close the pre-valves. Over.
Okay, the pre-valves are closed.
Okay, that's good. I think that completes our request on the booster side.
And Rick, the PCM recorder is rewound and it looks okay.
Okay, Joe, that's fine. We'll have plenty of tape there for the entry. I do have several more items to pass to you when you have a chance.
Okay, go ahead.
Roger, I've got the APU start plan for you. The plan is to start APU number 3, pre-TIG, and we'd like to move that to TIG minus 5 by TIG minus 3. Over.
Roger, start APU 3, TIG minus 5.
Okay, and then if that should not start, then we try number 2 as the alternate APU. If that one is unsuccessful, we'll take the APUs to start override, auto shutdown inhibit, and attempt to start APU 3 again and APU 2 again. If all of that is unsuccessful, we'll wave off. Over.
Roger, I'm sure that that will cause some delay in TIG, although no, we don't intend on that happening.
Roger, and I've got a weather report from John from you.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Terminate fuel cell 3 purge if you can, and the weather follows. This is as of about 20 minutes ago. John reported only a high scattered variable broken deck, 30,000 to 33,000. He said there was no problem seeing through it and that the aim points were all visible. Let me give you the winds if you've got your wind pad handy.
Okay, go right ahead.
Alrighty, 50,000, 265 at 60, 40,000, 275 at 80, 30,000, 260 at 90, 20,000, 260 at 60, 7,000, 270 at 30, surface 240 at 15. John reported seeing about 12 to 14 knots out of 220 actually on that one. Joe, over.
Okay, got him. Sounds great, Rick. Sounds like we're going to get that crosswind in.
Yes, sir, and we have a couple of recommendations on that. Due to the wind level, we're recommending a CSS around the hack and probably shading your turn inside the hack. Also, we'll probably recommend delaying the speed brake sweep to ensure that your energy remains within your nominal boundaries as we have worked before. Over.
Good luck, Rick. It sounds like a great plan.
Okay, one more note for you, well, for both of you, but Joe, on your PTI entry maneuver card, running this particular rev deorbit, I think you're going to find that the first roll reversal is going to be a little bit early, and the figures are at a velocity of 20,300, and that may crowd your first integrated maneuver a little bit, but I think you can plan for it. Over.
Okay, thank you for that reminder, Rick.
Columbia, Houston, we've got two configurations on R11 for you. Over.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, wideband mission power should be off, OFF.
Okay, that's off.
And over on R12, the fuel cell purge heaters should go off, OFF.
Okay, they're off. Thank you, sir.
Check top sun attitude, and since you're in the back, we'd like you to, on panel Alpha 14, the RCS ohms heaters, check the forward and aft RCS jet 1, 2, 3, and 4 heaters to auto. Over.
Okay, the forward RCS jets, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are to auto.
Okay, now check the aft RCS jet 1, 2, 3, and 4 to auto.
Okay, they're in auto.
Okay, that looks good. A reminder that prior to departing the stateside pass, we'd like you to come out of the interconnect and configure nominally.
Roger, Rick, understand.
And Columbia, Houston, could you check all three TACAN powers to off, OFF? We'll pick those up at B equals 15K.
Okay, all three of them going off.
Columbia, Houston, we've got targets and vectors coming up to the prime and a backup and an IMU drift comp. Over.
Okay, mighty fine. And Rick, I take it that you did get the IMU data from the last alignment?
Wait, what? If you could just give us the time of the alignment, that's all we need.
Okay, just a second. Okay, Rick, the time was 3 plus 22 plus 47.
Roger, 3 plus 22 plus 47.
And I can rip those numbers off if you need them.
Negative, thank you very much.
Okie dokes.
And Joe, if you could check top sun attitude, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, sure will, Rick.
And Columbia, Houston, is there someone that can do a switch reconfig in panel R11, over?
Yes, sir, I sure can, Rick. Go ahead.
Okay, Joe, we've got a change of heart on 2 circuit breakers on row Golf. If you could take the DFI PCM recorder, correction, DFI PCM forward container, Mux Tango, Main Charlie circuit breaker, and close it, over.
Okay, that's closed.
And the DFI PCM FM transmitter, Main Charlie, to close.
Okay, Rick, let's see. Tell me what row that's on.
That's also on Golf. FM transmitter, Main Charlie.
Yeah, FM main transmitter, Main Charlie. Okay, they're both closed. And Rick, could you read me up the inertial tail of sun attitude, or top sun attitude, please?
We sure will. It's 198.8, 351.7, and 4.0, over.
Hey, you got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Joe, we've got 7 minutes left in the pass. We'd like to remind you that if possible, we'd like to see you in the deorbit burn attitude while we're in ascension. That does not mean to be there as we come AOS, but if you could start the maneuver at ascension AOS, you should be there by LOS, and that would satisfy that requirement, over.
Okay, and how far are we from ascension, Rick?
Roger, we'll be at ascension in about 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And Houston VLT, I'm going to let Joe maneuver to this burn attitude and then reconfigure to the RCS speed.
Okay, no problem, Richard. Thank you. Columbia Houston, about 3 minutes left in this pass. We see everything's looking good, and got to go to get into the seats.
Okay, thank you, Rick. I'll start doing that right now.
I missed the last statement. Say again.
Yes, sir. We'll start doing it right now, and thanks a lot.
Roger, thank you. Columbia Houston, 1 minute to LOS here over the States. Your last look at the States after this mission. In the entry phase, should you get IMU transient bites, they probably reflect what you saw on ascent, and you should ignore any transient IMU bites that you get during the entry, over.
Okay, thanks, Rick. We'll do that.
And we're ready to load the targets with 30 seconds to go in a pass.
Roger, Rick. We understand we're maneuvering into the in auto to the top sun attitude, then we're going to retarget.
Okay, understand. Thank you. We'll see you in about 10.
Okay.
This is Shuttle Control. Bermuda has loss of signal. We're 32 minutes and 15 seconds away from the deorbit maneuver. Astronauts Engel and Truly are getting into their seats. We'll target this landing for runway 15. That's the crosswind runway. But they will have the ability to change that and go to runway 23 if the winds across on 15 exceed what we're looking for. Next station is
NASA 947.
Ascension Island.
This is Houston, over.
In 9 minutes.
947.
2 days, 4 hours, 41 minutes
Roger,
national elapsed
John,
time.
we're in
This is
a
Shuttle
9-minute
Control.
LOS period, and we're interested in what you find on this last weather for us.
Okay, we just looked at the ground track. Bakersfield is open right now. There's a deck of low clouds in the valley. It's no problem. And we can see the lake bed from 37 out, from 30 miles out coming in, but there's clouds over the 30,000 foot layer is over the center of the lake bed. We haven't made our last pass to runway 15 yet. We'll start down here pretty quick.
Okay. Okay, no rush on that. We can pick up the report after the ascension pass if you don't have it before the AOS. Over.
Roger.
And 947, Houston, we do not want to push you on your limits, however, on remaining clear of the area as per the local directives.
Rick, we got about probably 4 hours of gas here, so we're in pretty good shape.
We understand gas is not a problem. We just don't want to push you into wait one. NASA 947, Houston. What I was trying to convey earlier was that we would expect that after your final run that you will pick up your holding area as per the local directives for the reentry.
Right.
This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 4 hours, 50 minutes mission elapsed time. Columbia coming up on acquisition through ascension.
Roger, you're coming in a little scratchy, but should pick up better. We're with you here for about 7 minutes. Over. Columbia, Houston, with you through ascension for 5 minutes. Configure AOS. Over.
Okay, Houston, we thought maybe we were a little late coming AOS. We have started the maneuver to the burn attitude. Just now started it, Rick.
Okay, superb, Joe Henry. One thing we wanted to ask you is whether while you were in Ops 2 you selected runway 15 on the alternate slot. Over.
Affirmative, we sure did.
Okay, thank you, Richard. One item of interest, we did run the current winds, and the evaluation is such that if you were to remain in auto on the hack, that would result in about 1.9 Gs.
Okay, thank you, Rick. We'll cut it a little early then.
Okay, and we've got vectors to send up to you, and once we tell you they're up, we'll probably ask you to reload the targets.
Sounds good. And Rick, the APU fuel tank valves are open if you would like to check them. We've got 3 grays.
Okay, the APUs look good to us.
Okay, Rick, and if you're ready, I'll do a gimbal check while you're looking.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, secondaries are working.
Roger. The vector is on board in both the pass and the BFS, and at your convenience, we'd like you to reload the targets.
Okay, we'll do it.
Columbia, Houston, we have a go for the deorbit burn. 3 minutes remaining in this pass.
Super, thank you, Rick.
And Columbia, Houston, while we still have you here at Ascension, on your flip cards, I might verify that you did get the pen and inks in the TIG-5 area on the topping of VAP, high-load duct heater, and humidity separator. Over.
I believe so, Rick. Let me double check it.
Okay, that's the top of VAP heater nozzle, 2 of them to off. The ducts, 2 of them to, the duct heater off. The high-load duct heater off, and the humidity separator, 2 of them off, and that's all in the vicinity of TIG-5.
Okay, Rick, you have to read them again. You got a little ahead of me there.
Okay, sorry about that. On L1, top of VAP heater, nozzle, 2 of them to off. The top of VAP heater duct to off. The high-load duct heater to off, and humidity separator, 2 of them to off. And if you don't want to rush your APU start, do that prior to the APU start, no problem. And I may have interrupted you on your gimbal checks, Joe. We've got 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining to look at the primary check.
Rick, I got all the comments on L1 on the heater, so you made some comment about the APU, so would you say that again, please?
No comment on the APUs, other than that the APUs look good on the pre-start. We'd like to do the primary gimbal check in the 50 seconds we have remaining in the pass.
Okay, you got them coming now.
Okay, thank you.
And Rick, would you repeat one more time, other than on L1, what other steps need to be done at TIG-5?
Just a reminder that the APU start was to be done at TIG-5 on APU number 3.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
This is shuttle control. Loss of signal at ascension. One tracking station remaining before the deorbit maneuver. That's Botswana in 5 minutes. We're 16 minutes away from the deorbit burn, which will be out over the Indian Ocean, away from any tracking station. We'll get a report on that burn when Columbia makes acquisition through Yargady after the burn. Columbia maneuvering now to the deorbit attitude. The vehicle will be upside down and flying backwards at that burn. And crew got to go for the deorbit burn during this pass. 2 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston.
NASA 947, this is Houston, over.
947, go.
Roger, John, we've got a 4-minute LOS period now. I'll be interested in your final run there.
Okay, we're at 20K now, starting out.
Okay, we'll stand by. (947) Houston, 1 minute to our AOS at Botswana. Do you have a 30-second report you can give us?
Roger, we saw a 209 at 19 knots on the wind. And the turbulence is slight. The tower is saying 210 at 12. I tend to think the wind's a little higher than that.
Okay, we copy. Roger, John, and we're waiting for your call on crosswind recommendation.
Now, the reason I say that is because it's picking up sand right where we're landing on the lake bed. It doesn't do that till it gets 18 knots or so.
Are we go or no go for the crosswind landing, Joe?
Stand by, well, let me talk to him, Sector. John, come up on 138.45.
Columbia, Houston through Botswana for 4 minutes, over.
Okay, Rick, you're loud and clear, Rick.
Okay, we've got you the same, Joe. We'll just sit back and look forward to the burn.
Roger that, Rick.
For your information, the gimbal check looked good.
Hey, that's good, thank you. And Houston, Columbia.
Go ahead, Joe.
Roger, Rick. The switches on L1 reconfigured T-4. They have floated off. Could you give them to me again, please?
Okay, no problem, Joe. The top evap heater nozzle, 2 of them to off. The top evac heater duct to off. The high-load duct heater to off. And the humidity separator, 2 of them to off. Over.
Okay, those are done. Thank you.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, 30 seconds, LOS. Our next contact is after the burn in 15 minutes. We'll look forward to that.
Okay, Rick, we'll see you there.
Roger.
This is Shuttle Control. Botswana has loss of signal. We're 6.5 minutes away from a deorbit maneuver. Next station is Yargady in about 14 minutes. Decision has been made to redesignate to runway 23 at Edwards because of wind conditions. It won't require any change in the deorbit burn, or the only change required will be for Joe Engel to select the runway 23 display in the cockpit. 2 days, 5 hours, 7 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control. This is Shuttle Control. The deorbit maneuver should be starting now. Duration of that maneuver, 2 minutes, 55 seconds. Slowing Columbia enough so that it drops out of orbit for landing at Edwards Air Force Base. We've started the entry interface clock here in the control center. It's reading 27 minutes to entry into the Earth's atmosphere for Columbia. We'll get a report on this deorbit burn when Columbia reaches the Yargady tracking station in Australia. We're about 7 minutes away from acquisition there. At 2 days, 5 hours, 14 minutes, this is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control, 2 days, 5 hours, 20 minutes mission elapsed time. Yargady should have acquisition in about 40 seconds. We'll stand by.
Columbia, Houston, through Yargady, over.
Okay, Houston, read you loud and clear, and the burn was good.
Okay, that's super, Joe. One change to the plan. John's last weather flight indicated that our crosswind might be a little bit high, so we're going to ask you to reselect a runway 23, your prime runway, and we'll make a landing on 23, over.
Faded out. Understand you want us to retarget to runway 23.
That's affirmative. Runway 23, over. And Columbia, Houston, 5 minutes remaining in the pass. How do you read, over?
Okay, read you loud and clear now, Rick. You did fade out. Understand you want us to retarget to 23?
That's affirmative. The surface winds were a little bit too much for the crosswind. One note on that. the evaluation of the auto maneuver around the hack would result in a 1.6 G turn. However, we're still recommending a CSS on the hack, probably slightly inside the hack. Right now, your go for maneuvers. We have not ruled out auto land, and we'd like you to check your biomed harnesses. Over.
North.
And Columbia Houston, just as a matter of clarification, we see as the only requirement is to select your primary runway on the spec in order to set up your guidance for 2-3. Over.
Roger that, Rick. Well done.
At Columbia Houston, the roll reversals will still be as briefed. There will be no significant effect on that early turn on the first roll reversal. Over.
Roger, understand. Thanks, Rick.
Columbia Houston, 1 minute to go in this period. We'll pick you up at Guam in 7 minutes, and you might give us an update on the forward RCS dump. Over.
Okay, Rick. The forward RCS dump is complete, and we are maneuvered to attitude now.
Okay, thank you, Joe. We're looking forward to seeing you and all your data over Guam.
This is Shuttle Control. Columbia is out of range at Yargity. And just prior to LOS began orbit number 37. However, Columbia is committed to leave orbit now. Good burn reports there. We'll have communications through the Guam tracking station in about 6.5 minutes. And that will be the last time we'll be able to talk to the crew until Columbia approaches the coast of California. 2 days, 5 hours, 27 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 5 hours, 33 minutes mission elapsed time. We're 30 seconds away from acquisition at Guam.
Columbia Houston, Guam for 5 minutes. Figure AOS.
We're in attitude.
Roger. Roger.
And Houston, we got good ACU. The service drive is in effect.
Okay, very good.
And I was a little bit on the forward RCS. The point is 0 prior to that was predicted, and I stopped the dump when the point is 0.
Okay, we concur with that. Thank you, Richard.
And the further conditioning is complete.
Roger. And Columbia Houston, check the DFI PCM recorder and continuous report. Over.
Okay, thank you. Continuous record. And Houston, I'll open the doors here.
Roger, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I will close the doors here.
Roger. Columbia Houston, you're cleared for all three CRTs up. Power level looks good.
Thank you, Rick.
Columbia Houston, there'll be no Delta T required.
Hey, very good, Rick. Thank you.
Columbia Houston, 20 seconds LOS. Can you confirm whether the OEX recorder was configured prior to ingress? Over.
It was, Rick.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you out of Blackout and looking forward to seeing you there.
Okay, Rick. We're pretty sure that the recorder is on.
Okay, thank you, Joe. See you in about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Columbia Houston, configure LOS.
This is Shuttle Control. Guam has loss of signal. Columbia now 36 seconds away from entering the Earth's atmosphere. and 32 minutes, 47 seconds away from landing at Edwards Air Force Base. We're 20 and a half minutes away from being able to talk to the crew again. All three auxiliary power units up and running, looking good as Columbia passed out of range at Guam. The power level looked great. The guidance officer said he saw runway 23 selected into the CRT on the instrument panel. We've had an update on the entry elapsed times. The entry interface remained the same. Beginning blackout changed by and ending by about 1 second. That's now 2 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, 22 seconds. Blackout ending at 2 days, 5 hours, 59 minutes, 37 seconds. And we're showing landing now at 2 days, 6 hours, 13 minutes, 28 seconds. Velocity at entry interface is predicted to be 24,517 feet per second, and the altitude 413,719 feet. At that point, Columbia will be 4,470 miles from touchdown at Edwards Air Force Base. Coming out of blackout, Columbia's velocity will be 12,315 feet per second, altitude 173,237 feet, and range right at 500 miles. Columbia has a go to do the entry maneuvers. These are the aerodynamic stick inputs that will be commanded manually through the control stick, and the program test inputs that are keyed into the computer keyboard and then performed through the computer. These are roll, pitch, yaw maneuvers at various, cued at various dynamic pressures and velocities, designed to give us a better understanding of the orbiter aerodynamic characteristics, including center of gravity, angle of attack, stability at various pressures and speeds. These maneuvers will be flown at both hypersonic and supersonic speeds for the most part. It involves pitch, roll, and yaw maneuvers in addition to the steep banks that are flown to manage the energy profile. We're 17 minutes away from acquisition and 29 minutes, 9 seconds away from landing. 2 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 5 hours, 51 minutes, mission elapsed time. We're 9.5 minutes away from acquisition of signal with Columbia, 21.5 minutes away from landing at Edwards Air Force Base. During this period, crew aboard Columbia is performing a number of aerodynamic tests, flying small maneuvers, both with the control stick and through the computer keyboard. This is for a better understanding of the orbiter aerodynamic characteristics, including center of gravity, angle of attack, stability at various dynamic pressures and speeds. These maneuvers are cued by either dynamic pressures or speeds. Involves maneuvers at hypersonic and supersonic speeds, pitch, roll, and yaw maneuvers in addition to the steep banks that are flown to manage the energy. On the STS-1 landing, long-range optics at Anderson Peak and Santa Ynez in California were able to pick up Columbia far out. However, we do not expect to be able to acquire Columbia with these long-range optics today because of heavy clouds along the west coast. We do expect some sonic booms in the Edward Air Force Base area. Measurements were taken during the STS-1 entry and landing. Prior to that time, projection was that there would be mild sonic booms, a mild sonic boom centered a few miles west of Edwards. Predicted overpressure was 2 pounds per square foot. Measurements taken in that area showed that it was just slightly above that. It was 2.4 pounds per square foot. That's about half the overpressure experienced when you slam the door of a closed car. We're 7 minutes away now from acquisition, about 19 minutes, 10 seconds away from landing. At 2 days, 5 hours, 53 minutes mission elapsed time. This is Shuttle Control, Houston. This is Shuttle Control at 2 days, 5 hours, 55 minutes mission elapsed time. We're 4 minutes, 55 seconds away from acquisition. Columbia is expected to cross the coastline of California in the Big Sur area, right about San Simeon, at an altitude of 130,000 feet, and a distance at that point to Edwards of 198 nautical miles. Velocity will be about 6,400 feet per second. Ground track then takes it just a few miles south of Paso Robles, 176 nautical miles from Edwards. Velocity at that point 5,900 feet per second at altitude 124,000. Ground track comes on down the southern portion of the San Joaquin Valley, passing south of Taft, Maricopa, crosses Interstate Highway 5 at Grapevine Grade at an altitude of about 96,000 feet, at which point it's about 84 nautical miles from touchdown, velocity 3,400 feet per second. Enters the terminal area energy management about 58 nautical miles from touchdown at 82,000 feet, about 2,300 feet per second. Columbia will go into the heading alignment circle, a wide sweeping turn to line up with the runway at about 40,000 feet. Joe Engel will fly this manually, control stick steering. Then he will go to the automatic landing system, taking back over manually at about 2,000 feet just prior to pre-flare, and land in the control stick steering mode. We're 2 minutes, 39 seconds away from acquisition. We sometimes get C-band radar contact prior to AOS, so we'll stand by for first contact. We have a single C-band radar contact, shows Columbia at 188,000 feet, range of 653 miles, and velocity of about Mach 15. We do not yet have telemetry and won't for another minute or so. We're a minute and a half away from voice contact. The radar shows Columbia now at coming out of 173,000 feet at a range of 542 miles, Mach 12.8. Telemetry coming in now.
Chase Houston, stand by for a mark 12. Stand by. Mark.
Chase, copy.
APUs look good and energy is nominal. Navigational systems look good. We're about 25 miles south of the nominal ground track.
Columbia Houston, Buckhorn, configure AOS. You're about 25 miles south of ground track. Your nav is good. Your energy is good. We'd like you to check your TACAN, MLS, and radar altimeters on. Over. Okay, we concur with that, Joe. And did you get my call on the nav aids?
Okay, we're calling on the nav aids.
Roger, everything's looking good. Your energy is very good. The nav is good. Out of 154,000 at 9.8.
Roger.
Delta azimuth 15 degrees.
Roger.
Range now 350.
Roger.
Roll reversal is part of the energy management.
And maneuvers are going very good. Real solid. Good solid all the way.
Well, we love hearing it. We requested DNC, IO reset to bring the MLS into the software. Over.
Out of 143,000 feet now.
Roger.
He's calling out program test inputs. Those are the ones keyed through the computer.
Roger.
Mach 7.4.
Columbia Houston, you go for TACANs. Roger.
Tactical air navigation information now being fed in.
Roger, Dick.
This should help bring Columbia onto the nominal ground track shortly. Not yet across the coastline, still out. Mach 6.5, range 200 miles, coming out of 125,000, crossing the coast about now, beginning to converge onto the nominal ground track.
STS-2 at 5.8, mark.
Roger, we show you now at 120,000 feet, 5.6 miles.
Okay,
Roger.
Columbia down over the San Joaquin Valley now, 9 minutes away from landing. 115,000 feet, Mach 5.3, range 148 miles. 110,000 feet.
Okay, right at 4.8.
Roger.
Left roll reversal now at 108,000. Range 125 miles, Mach 4.5.
STS-2, mark.
Roger.
And STS-3, sorry about that.
Roger.
That was completed by 4:05.
Okay, we concur.
Speed brake coming in now. 102,000 feet altitude, range 96. Edwards has visual acquisition on TV.
Out of 100,000 feet, Mach 3.6, you have positive seats. Positive seats.
Positive seats, Columbia now.
Houston, PTR 4, mark.
Roger.
90,000 feet at a range of 74 miles. Mach 2.9.
Roger, we're looking at it. Columbia, Houston, you can take your data.
82,000 feet, Mach 2.5, range 57 miles.
PTI, Mark.
Roger. Everything's looking right on the money there, Joe, and we have a wind update for you, and a weather update. You've got a very thin layer, 25,000. The winds airborne are as brief and on the ground 220, 18 knots, gusting to 24. Altimeter 30.007. You got 60 miles underneath. Over.
Hey, good. Looks like a rainy day.
Yes, sir.
Out of 68,000. 39 miles range, Mach 1.5.
Okay, PTI 6. Mark.
Showing will continuing to fly the test maneuvers. 60,000 feet.
Columbia, Houston, that's your convenience. Transfer the state vector pass to the BFS. Roger. State vector transfer pass to BFS.
Okay, thank you very much. PTI 7, Mark.
50,000 feet, Mach 1, range 27 miles.
PTI 8, Mark.
Roger, you're tracking right down the line.
Columbia approaching the heading alignment circle now. 42,000 feet, Mach 0.8, 22 miles range.
Columbia, Houston, we show you intercepting the hack, and a reminder you've got the strong winds out of the west. Now out of 38,000 feet.
Okay, thank you, Rick. And we got a little bit of PTI, but not too much.
Roger.
Columbia making a wide sweeping turn now to get lined up with the runway. Good television picture. 25,000 feet.
Columbia, Houston, about 3,000 feet low now out of 24,000 feet.
Roger that. And we're showing 290 at 20,000. Okay, we're 19.
Check. Body flat to manual.
Manual.
280 knots at 18,000 feet.
Okay, speed start. Now.
Roger, still just slightly low on the energy, looking okay.
9 miles range at 13,000.
Roger, slightly below glide slope. You're below the glide slope. You have a go for auto land.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we're on auto.
Roger.
9,230.
Check speed brake auto.
Okay. Speed brake auto. Thank you.
We're about a minute away from touchdown.
220.
3,500 feet. 250 knots.
Okay, 2,500 feet, ready for close for 270 knots. Chase converse. Okay. Here's coming. Three down. 100. 50. 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10, 5, 5, 3, 3, touchdown. Nose gear 15. 10, 10, 10, 10, 5, 5, 3, 3, touchdown. Welcome home. Thank you, Chase.
This is Shuttle Control. The unofficial touchdown time and mission elapsed time is 2 days, 6 hours, 13 minutes, 10 seconds. Repeat that mission elapsed time for touchdown, 2 days, 6 hours, 13 minutes, 10 seconds.
Columbia has rolled and we're getting into the post landing.
Okay, Joe, it's a great day for the Ace Moving Company. Welcome home. Over to Steve Nagel now.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, welcome home. We need landing gear 1 ISO valves before we start. Columbia, Houston, did you copy on the landing gear 1 ISO valve to close? Over.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Roger, and I do have some deltas to the post-landing checklist. I'll not read all of them to you now, but I can give you the couple of pages before we get into it now. Over.
Okay, Steve, if you could stand by just a second. Richard gets you on, we'll be able to take them.
You bet.
Astronaut Steve Nagel has relieved astronaut Rick Houck at the Capcom console and will handle the power down procedures until crew egress.
Houston, ready, Rick?
Loud and clear.
Roger.
Let me know when you're ready to copy these changes.
Okay. Just a second, we'll be right with you, Steve. Go ahead, Steve.
Roger.
Okay, Steve, go ahead with him.
Okay, Joe, first on page 5-5, under the RCS safe valves, look under panel 08, left and right ohms, under the cross-feed 4 open, talk back open, add left ohms, cross-feed, Bravo, GPC, talk back open, over.
Okay, that one.
Roger, and on the next page 5-6, under the block deactivate left forward switches, we want to add the navigate power down, which will be moved from page 5-13. And that's enough to get you started.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The Shuttle Control, Dryden Flight Research Center estimates there were 200,000 people in their viewing area when Columbia touched down.
Columbia, Houston, you are go for the load test, over.
Thank you, Steve. Houston, I'm going to repeat that first load point.
Roger.
Convoy is approaching Columbia. Technicians in protective suits will check for any leaks in Columbia systems.
Columbia Houston, we still show the driver and logic on, over.
Units will be hooked up to purge Columbia.
Roger, and check flight controller power on the right side, over.
Roger, it is off. Did the services lose when I did the tower? Would you like to repeat it with the control power real quick?
That's affirmative. Joe, we need the left engine ohms engine valves off, over.
Okay, stand by. Okay, thank you, Steve, got it.
Joe, we need ammonia A secondary on. Over.
Okay. Ammonia A secondary on.
Okay, load test is complete.
Roger, we copy. Roger, we copy.
The orbital maneuvering and the reaction control systems have been safe.
Confirm now that the Holmes RCS is complete.
Okay, Joe, thank you.
You bet.
Technicians are using sniffers around the RCS engines now.
And Houston PLT, do I have to continue with the SME repositioning?
Roger, you're go for the SSME repositioning.
It can work. And Houston, let's see, Steve, Rick mentioned something about a half hour down that one right on here. You got some switches you'd like on there?
Roger, Joe, that's on page 5-6 under your deactivation left forward switches. We want TACAN, MLS, radar altimeter, and the lights turned off.
Okay, get on now. This thing takes sweet time, doesn't it, Steve?
Roger. And by the way, we are seeing engine movement.
Roger. And I've got a three in progress now.
Roger.
Okay, PFD 84 is complete, and are you go for AP shutdown, Houston?
Wait one.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, we are go for AP shutdown. There's one change there. Do not turn the hydraulic circuits on. We will call that to you.
Okay, do not turn on the hydraulic circuits, and I'm going for the shutdown. Here goes.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, we have a procedure for you with the LO2 pre-valves whenever you can. Over.
You're ready, Steve. AP shutdown is complete.
Roger, copy. AP shutdown complete. I have a procedure for you with the LO2 pre-valves whenever you're ready.
Okay, go ahead. Let me know, get them.
Roger, panel R4, I need the LO2 pre-valves, three of them closed for 10 seconds, and then open. Over.
Okay, the valves are closed, and the switches have been closed. So can I take them directly to...
Roger, wait for our go. Wait for our go.
Roger, standing by.
Roger, Columbia, you have a go for that. We want them cycled open, then closed twice with 10 seconds between cycles. Over.
That didn't work, Steve. And Houston, the number one talkback remained closed to open outside number one again.
Roger. Columbia, Houston, on your last cycle of those LO2 pre-valves, we need them open.
Roger, just try to close 2 and 3 and the top remain open. The configuration is the switches are GPC, the left one indicates closed, the number 1 indicates closed, number 2 and 3 indicate open.
Roger. That's on R4, Richard, the LO2 pre-valves. We need all three of them open. Over. And we don't think there are talkbacks on those switches. Columbia, we show those valves open now. Thank you. When you get to the vent door purge positioning, I do have some changes which you may already have. I'll restate them.
Okay. Second cycle of three valves, and leave them open.
Roger.
Switches are open.
Flight Director Don Putty has given Convoy Commander a go to start working on hatch removal.
Columbia, Houston, couple of things. When you get to the vent door positioning, I have those changes to read to you, and when somebody is at the aft station, I have a switch on R11. Okay, at the bottom of the vent door purge positioning under the line MM read item 2 execute, we have added after the message BFB89 entering 30-minute delay, then do a cancel item 5 execute. Over.
When we receive Victor Foxtrot entering 30-minute delay, then do a item 5 execute.
That's affirm, and the rest of the page on MCC go under that is deleted.
Okay, so we will not accomplish everything on underneath the title on MCC go.
That's affirmative, and Joe's back in the background, that switch on R11. Okay, R11 upper, the DF5 Freon pump to number one, Joe.
And Steve, we got three of them. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Okay, the Freon pump is on one.
Okay, thank you. And one other thing on panel 017, would you check the ATCs and MECs off?
Okay.
And there is a 2-second delay between MEC 1 and 2 powering those down.
Roger that. Okay, Steve, I've completed the modified vent door purge position.
Roger, looks good from here. Columbia, Houston, when convenient, we'd like hydraulic circuit number one on.
Roger, Houston, it's on.
Roger.
Okay, now 3 and 4.
Roger.
The ground purge and cooling units are moving into place now. Will be hooked up to Columbia.
Columbia, Houston, we would now like hydraulic circuit number 2 on.
Roger, Houston, it's on.
Okay, Roger, we'll wait one on that. And Columbia, Houston, if you could spare some CRTs, we'd like some power down.
Okay, 2 and 3 on.
Thank you. Columbia, Houston, we would like hydraulic circuit number 3 on now.
Roger, Steve, all 3 on now.
Okay, thank you. Columbia, Houston, we now have ground cooling. You're cleared to bypass the rads, and I have one additional step to give you the change. I need panel L1, the humidity separator 8 on after you bypass the rads. That's affirmative.
Columbia, this is, Roger, copy. Columbia, you're not clear. Roger.
Columbia, Houston, I have switches for you on A12.
Okay, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, panel A12, the gas generator, fuel pump, three of them to off. Roger, and also on the same panel, the lube oil line 3 to off.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Columbia, Houston, we would like hydraulic circuit pumps 1, 2, and 3 off. Over.
We're coming off, Steve.
No problem there, Richard. The hydraulic temperature stabilized. Columbia, did you call Houston?
Houston, CDR is on.
Roger. Columbia, Houston. KSC does not have telemetry at the present time, and Houston will maintain control until they do get telemetry.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston. On the right side, could you check on panel R1, the payload aft main switch off?
Okay, payload aft B is on. Turn it off. Columbia.
Roger. Off.
Okay, payload aft B coming off.
Thank you.
Crew is coming out of the rotary now. Being greeted by George Abbey, Director of Flight Operations at the Johnson Space Center. They're taking a look at the exterior of Columbia.
And here's flight, Columbia, we have also on.
This is Shuttle Control here in the Mission Control Center. The STS-2 crew patch has just been hung on the wall, joining the patches of all the other missions that have been flown from this Mission Operations Control Room on the second floor of the Control Center. Here in the Control Center, the Crimson Flight Team has handed over control of Columbia to the Kennedy Space Center representatives at Dryden.
Columbia, Houston, we're AOS at Indy for 6+30 and coming to you on S-band only. How do you hear?
You're loud and clear, okay?
Roger, and the Surrey pass is complete if you'd like to resume to the other deadband.
Okay, mighty fine. TJ, I'm getting ready to start step 3. I got a question for you, though. Almost simultaneously with the, in step 1, with the 2 switches on panel Romeo 11 Lima, we got an S86 APU hydraulic message and a couple of down arrows for both APUs 2 and 3. Were they related?
Copy the question. Stand by, please.
TJ, to be specific, the indications are accumulator pressure. Number 2 shows 16 low, and number 3 shows 16 low.
Roger, we copied 16 low. Say again the parameter name, please.
Roger, it's hydraulic accumulator pressure.
Roger, hydraulic accumulator. Columbia, Houston, Richard, you can continue with the procedure. We'll get back to you later on the message.
Okay. Okay, TJ, all the tank 1 and 2 heaters are on, and I'm waiting on the cryo pressures to build.
Roger, we copy, and I'd like you to understand it's your go to continue this test after LOS.
Roger, understand. Incidentally, we understand what Crip and John said about these big jets. We need Buckley up here. It's a bunch of howitzers.
Raj, understand you're seeing the nose jets firing now.
Yeah, well, a lot of today we've been using the big jets and boys, you sure know it when they fire.
Sorry, Columbia, we're receiving a lot of static and didn't copy your last.
Roger, no problem. You can disregard, TJ.
Roger, you're coming in a little bit better now. We have about a minute left here at iOS. We'll see you next at Hawaii at 10 plus 38.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston on UHF through Botswana, over. Columbia, Houston, UHF through Botswana, over.
Roger, TJ, stand by just a second.
Roger.
We're in the RCS jet test on page 900-7 and presently firing the plus yaw pulses.
Roger.
And Houston PLT, the circ pump is off. We're into the second cycle now.
Roger, we copy, Richard. Columbia, Houston, we have 1 minute left here at Botswana, and we'll be AOS at Indy Station in about 2 minutes. Over.
Okay.
Columbia, Houston, we're AOS at Indy Station, and we have a couple reminders for you, Richard, when you have a second to listen.
Okay, please hold off just a second while I get reconfigured. This RCS jet test is complete. Hang on just a second. And TJ, we just finished the RCS jet test. The forward CRT, CRT1 is loose. We haven't pulled it out yet, and we're going back to get to the aft one right now.
Roger, we copy, Joe.
Houston PLT, the RCS jet test is complete. Why don't you look at page 523 and see if there's any of that on the left side that should be deleted. My book doesn't have any of it deleted.
Roger, stand by.
Thank you, TJ. And I'm ready to copy your notes whenever you get them.
Columbia, Houston, your go for all the tests, even though we're going LOS here in about 3 minutes. And you're also go to reselect F5R, and also a reminder that the OEX recorder power will be required.
TJ, where is that in the procedure?
Roger, the OEX power is under your PLT column. Roger, it gets turned on under the PLT column at 11 plus 25.
Aha, okay. Well, before you go over the hill, look at 1140, and it says that we require some ASIP data via SBC or RTC at that point. Has that been accomplished, or should we stop there?
We copy, standby.
Roger.
Richard, the ASIP is on, and we'll leave it on until we can command it off at Hawaii, and your go for all those tests. One further reminder, the IMU alignment attitude that's required will be the one in message 9 echo. Over.
Okay, I think we've got that, Terry.
And Columbia, one more we'd like to...
This per print, and see you at the next station.
Roger, we have 1 plus 30 here, and we need to give you some information on the upcoming water dump, which will be before Hawaii. Over.
Roger, go ahead.
We'd like you to dump tanks Charlie through Foxtrot to 73%. That'll require about 1 hour of dump. And you'll recall that in the procedure, you'll be deleting steps 1 and 4, doing only steps 2 and 3 rather, because of our tank configuration. Over.
Roger, TJ, it's tanks Charlie through Foxtrot to 73%, and just like we did before, delete steps 1 and 4.
You got it. We've got 30 seconds left here, and we'll see you at Hawaii at 12 plus 12. Over.
Roger.